Hello. It wasn't working. so I'm sorry, I'm a whole minute late. Hi, it is 12:30 on a Thursday. You know what that means? Ounce of Prevention chat time. And that's what we're doing. So I'm so glad you're here. I am Stephanie Fine, Dr. Stephanie Fine, and I am here to help you keep weight off. Now, if you're on your way to losing it, awesome. And if you've lost it and you want to keep it off, I'm your gal. So that's what we're doing here is we look at ways that we can enjoy life and be responsible for what's going in. So that's what we're doing. And it was just Thanksgiving last week. I'm amazed it's over, but it is. And now we're headed into the proper holidays. That's what's happening in December, which is 2 days away. So that's what we're going to talk about. Your ounce of prevention today was tips on party going, which, is happening. And this is where we can get tripped up, right? It's one thing to have our regular day, but then when it has lots of parties and things that are exceptions, that are, we can think about taking different time off meaning away from what we would normally eat. That's when it starts to pile up. One of these every so often isn't a big deal, but when you have, 3 parties in a weekend, weekend after weekend, then it gets to be, a little much. Or it can be if you don't know the tips and tricks, which we're going to go into. So my number one was, I talked about that extensively in the ounce of prevention. So hopefully you get that. And you can go to my website, stephaniefinemd.com, and sign right up for it. I'd love for you to get it in the inbox. And the number one point about that, which is always important for any parties, is a snack. Having a snack before you go. I go into detail about the calorie count and the protein count and all that, so check it out there. But that one thing will save hundreds and hundreds of calories. It's sort of, and we're going to go into this too, it sort of slows everything down so you're not swept up in the I'm starving and boy does that look good. Now you can just say, boy, that looks good, and I've decided I'm going to go for this thing that I've really been looking forward to rather than that thing that sort of caught my eye and maybe is not worth it. So it gives you some breathing space, and that's what we're looking for. So that was number one. So today, what I'm going to go into a little more deeply than I did in the ounce of prevention itself is alcohol. When I think of parties, I think of drinks. That's what I mean. There's definitely the food, but usually it's a place where there's a little more free-flowing alcohol than in a normal day-to-day kind of thing. The other thing about alcohol, too, is if you're anxious about a party, a lot of times we'll use that as the social lubricant, and that's not a bad thing, but using it consciously, knowing that that's what you're doing, is going to be really important. So a few things about the alcohol. I'm going to talk about best choices and best practices, but also I want to remind you that often when we have alcohol, and especially if it's a little too much or a little more than we normally have, or on an empty stomach, then our defenses go down a bit and we end up eating a lot more than we planned. So that's just something to think about. It doesn't mean you shouldn't. It's just take that into consideration when you're planning what you're going to do for the party. So I have found that over and over again. Even when I resolve once I have a glass of wine, things just look a little better to finish, you know what I mean? And to have and to all that sort of stuff. And I just need to take that into consideration. So that's one point. The second point about alcohol that I wanted to go over is the differences. So I mentioned that champagne has fewer calories. The bubbles literally do take up the room. I'm not joking. There's 2 things about it. In a champagne glass, you usually get 4 ounces as a regular serving, and in wine glasses, it's 5 ounces. So right there's already an ounce savings, but also because of the bubbles. So 4 ounces of alcohol is under 100 calories of champagne. 4 ounces of champagne is under 100 calories. 5 ounces of wine is 120 to 125 calories for the 5 ounces. And remember, it depends on the glass. If it's a big glass and it's a bigger pour, then that's going to be more. So that's why champagne can be an excellent choice, because it's sort of, you drink it a little more slowly, it's a little bubbly, it has fewer calories for the serving that you would normally get. So anyway, that's a good choice. Red wine has tiny bit more calories than white wine, but I mean, we're talking like 3 for the 5 ounces. It's not significant, but just as long as we're talking about calories for each thing. Other alcohol like bourbon, rum, vodka, those sorts of drinks, just the liquor part itself, for a jigger, which is 1.5 ounces. So it's actually it's like a triangle cone amount of alcohol, which they would normally put into like a mixed drink. How much is that? It's 100 calories. A jigger is 100 calories. Now, the issue with that is simply, so that can be a great choice, by the way, and especially if you mix it with water, ice, club soda, a lime, a fresh lime or fresh lemon, all that is no calories. So you would literally be having 100 calories in a drink. If you put it in a tall drink with ice and you put in a jigger of vodka and then you put soda and lime in there, I mean, that's going to last you a while, and you're talking about 100 calories. So depending on what you like, it's when you start having fruit juices and bitters and syrups and those sorts of things that the calories really add up. That's like margaritas have triple sec, and they usually have agave, which sounds really organic. It just has a bunch of calories. It's similar amounts of sugar calories. So it's just something to watch for. So just when you're armed with this information, a jigger, 1.5 ounces, is 100 of alcohol. That's how many calories it is. Watch the mix-ins. And then 4 ounces of champagne is less than 100, around 95, somewhere in there. Beer is the most at 150 for 12 ounces. And wine is around 120 for 5 ounces. So now that's what you got. So remember, with parties, if you're having your snack before and you're going to the party and you've planned what you're going to have, that's going to be the key. Is this one of your parties that you love the little baby quiches because your sister-in-law makes them and they're the best and she only makes them one time during the year? Then of course you're going to have that. But I want this to be able to fit into your week and not end up being, I'm thinking of like a top heavy, like too many calories in a weekend, which then makes the week, which then makes the month, which then makes added pounds, and you're not happy with it, how it goes. If you're okay with adding some pounds and you're deciding to take it off, then you're going to make different decisions. But if it really is easier to not gain and to make choices about what you're willing to do to keep the weight off. And I'm not even talking about losing necessarily, staying the same. And remember the key. This is the key, and then we're done. So the key is having a strategy, not even a strategy, an intention for the party. I want to support my friend. That's why I'm going to this party. I want to have a good time with my husband. That's why I'm going to this party. I want to meet more work colleagues. That's my intention with this party. I want to meet a whole bunch of new people. I want to get to know my Aunt Sally, who I haven't seen in 12 years. If you come up with that, and those were all non-food intentions, right? If you come up with that, it's gonna be so much easier to deal with the food, because the party is about connecting. And I'll just keep saying that until it sinks in. It makes such a difference when the focus is not on the food, but on something else, and you feel filled. So that's it for this week. I'll be back next week, so we'll find something else about the holidays to talk about. There's lots. And if you ever have any questions, join the Facebook group or write them on my page, Stephanie Fine MD on Facebook, and planforpossible.com is the private Facebook group, which I would love to see you in. We have polls and conversations in there that would be really fun for you to join. So that's it, my friend. Have a great week. Think about those parties, and now you have some alcohol scorecard to to decide how you're going to handle it. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next. Bye.